On this week's edition of Stupid Rare, we have a Casablanca Four Seasons. Slumber-Quiet. I think light oak blades. But what finish is it? Is it antique brass? Has the finish been stripped off? I don't know. Now, what finish could this thing possibly be? Let's see. Okay. CB4999. June of 1982. But what finish is that? That's an excellent freaking question. What finish is this Four Seasons? Let's see. Initially, Casablanca had 9 finishes. And they were done by numbers. Okay? Finish number 1 was antique copper. Yes, finish number 1 was antique copper. It would later appear as finish number 51, when the finish was reintroduced in the late 90s. Finish number 2, polished bright brass. Finish number 3, polished copper. Finish number 4, antique brass. Finish number 5, chrome. Finish number 6, antique white. Finish number 7, traditional brown. Finish number 8, charcoal or matte black. Now what is finish number 9? Oh yeah, that's right. Finish number 9 is brushed pewter. Yeah, that's right. It's a pewter Four Seasons. Now, of the finishes, of the early finishes, pewter is one of the rarest. Aside from maybe antique copper, although we've seen a few of those. Alright, pewter, yeah, not a common finish. Polished copper is also uncommon, but pewter, now these you seem to see the least. So it's just like, you know. But it's funny, because every time someone sees a pewter Casablanca, they automatically go fucking blind. Alright? They lose their eyesight. Or rather, they go colorblind because they don't know what the hell it is. They think, oh, is it antique brass? Oh, has the finish been stripped? No. No, it hasn't. This is what brushed pewter looks like. It's just you never see it, so you don't know. And plus, with warmer white balance, right? Like if I were to say change the white balance to that, oh, it looks like antique brass because now it's warmer. Ooh, go back to normal though, and haha, it's back. Yeah. But every time someone sees pewter, they go blind. They go colorblind. They don't know what it is, and they think, oh, it's nothing. Haha. Blind. You all are blind. So yeah, this one's from June of 1982. The pewter finish as a standalone, right, I think it only lasted 2, maybe 3 years. 81 and 82 are definite. I don't know about 80. 83, I don't know. Pretty sure it was gone by then. But anyway, let's turn it on. Starting with low. And yes, the Slumber-Quiet works. As you can see, one of the irons is a little tarnished, but I'm not complaining. Hopefully that will buff up. But yeah. The SQ on this thing actually works. Which is the usual for me. I have encountered only one Casablanca with iffy SQ. It's failing, but it's not dead. And only one fan in general with an iffy or with a failed SQ-like system. That was actually a Fasco Old Fayetteville from 1987. Or maybe it was 1988, excuse me. Okay, that had a failed SQ-like system. Pretty much all the Casablancas I've gotten, they've all worked. So as you can see with SQ, the system is aesthetic. Low speed is aesthetic. It's a nice slow low speed, probably I would say 30 RPM on low, maybe 25. But yeah, nice and slow. Which is great. As you see, it has no light. And that's a problem, because finding lights in brushed pewter is also very, very hard. You know, because brushed pewter was such a rare finish, it did not sell very well. You know? Antique copper probably sold better than this. Okay? Because back in the early 80s, everyone wanted brass. Everyone wanted white. Everyone wanted antique brass. Occasionally brown. Occasionally black. But pewter, no, this is way too modern, way too ahead of its time. You know, because brushed nickel as a finish only became a thing with Casablanca in 1997. Now, of course, now it's a mainstay, but so a gray tone finish back then, no, didn't fit with anything. So very few were sold, which is sad, because I like this finish. Now you're probably wondering, finish number 9, wait, isn't that classic white? Yes and no. See, normally when Casablanca discontinues a finish, alright, and they bring it back later on, they give it a new number. They give it a new finish number. Like Chrome was finish number 5. It was discontinued, but then they brought it back as finish number 199. Because, you know, their numbers have been getting a bit high. Or anti-copper, initially finish number 1, it came back as finish number 51 when it was reintroduced in the late 90s. Okay, so, I mean, yeah. But here's the thing. They made one exception to this. Only one. Finish number 9 was antique pewter. Or not antique pewter, brushed pewter, excuse me. But in 1994, long after the finish had been discontinued, the number 9 was reassigned classic white, which was slightly lighter than antique white. Why did they do this? I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know. It's kind of baffling. I guess they thought, okay, because it's classic white, you think it should be higher or lower down the tier in terms of, you know, numbers. But nope, they decided to screw with things. Now, as far as antique pewter itself goes, I don't think it was removed from the books until maybe 1988 or 89. Because pewter, although it had disappeared, right, as a standalone finish, it was still in the books. So in 86, the Panama was introduced. They introduced a couple of, say, designer series gallery editions for the Panama. There were 3, I think. One was brass and copper. One was, I think, white and brass. Or maybe just straight brass, I forget. And the other one was chrome and brushed pewter. So it had pewter irons, a pewter sideband, at least I think it had pewter irons, and a pewter light kit. So, I mean, but that was the last time pewter was ever seen. Let's put it up maybe a quarter of a turn. Finishes like polished copper. That disappeared in the early 80s, maybe mid 80s. Alright. Brown actually disappeared in the early 90s. Although it wasn't not used on very many fans. I think the Delta 2 was the only exception. Matte black persisted, and I think it's still around. Or at least it was until Hunter Blanca, took everything over. Or Hunter took everything over and changed everything. Alright. Antique copper is gone. I think that disappeared in the mid to late 2000s. Probably mid 2000s. Chrome is still around. I think. I hope. Brown, yeah. So it's just like... yeah. So this is a nice, relatively normal low speed. And of course the motor is absolutely silent, as it should be. Let's put it up another quarter-ish of a turn. And being an 82, this one has the thicker housing. Thicker motor housing. Which I also like. I like Four Seasons with the thick housing, because it was thick because of the K63. And then in 83, they slimmed down the sideband. And... there you go. They did this with everything, with the Zephyr, Four Seasons. The only thing they didn't do it with was the Victorian. And because of that, the flywheel on the Victorian is actually flipped upside down to give it that slight, like I think half-inch extra clearance for the blade irons. Now it's a nice, typical Casablanca medium. I want to say 82 is the first year they started offering the Casablanca fob, but I'm not certain of that. Fobbage. Let's put it up another quarter-ish of a turn. The Slumber-Quiet system, right, was one of the only quiet variable speed systems ever offered. You know, because the normal solid-state system with the cardboard box, right, it creates an added 60-cycle hum, meaning the motor will buzz when it otherwise wouldn't. Right, so, yeah, very quiet system. The only problem is it was not particularly reliable. The Slumber-Quiet system has a 50% failure rate, meaning about 50% of these failed, which meant normally the board would burn up and it would only run on high. Back in the day, I know a dealer who bought a whole truckload, probably 500 Slumber-Quiet Casablancas of various models, and they were all bad. All of them were bad. It was a bad batch. They didn't work right. So, back when Casablanca was actually good to their dealers, you know, Burton A. Burton sent the dealer a new truckload of Casablancas overnight, like next day air. So, yeah, back in that time, yeah, Casablanca actually cared about quality and making things right. Now with Hunter running the show, I mean, really, it's only a matter of time before the Casablanca name is just completely discontinued, which means Casablanca will die very soon. Like, it's on life support at this point. 2020, they released no new models at all. Not a good sign. And it's already Hunter everything anyway, but it's just a sign of the times. It's really sad. If only they would let Tom Frampton buy the company. Buy buy the name, bring back the quality, but no, they won't do that. They'd rather kill off the competition, because yay, capitalism! Anyway, straight to high. As you can see, pretty much no wobble, actually. The particular blade set this came with, I want to say it's light oak, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was stripped down. But, yeah. This blade set's very well balanced. Perfectly balanced, in fact. Like, there's no wobble at all. The bearings have a slight whirl to them, but it's typical. They're still smooth and still pretty quiet. Like, you'll only really hear the bearings if you're directly underneath the fan or right up against it. It's just not too bad. I like things wobble-free. Pewter. Let's let it toast. I mean, pewter, only a couple of pewter Four Seasons have surfaced. A couple of pewter Victorians have surfaced. I think at least one, maybe two pewter Zephyrs have surfaced. But pewter itself was not available with every fan. I don't think the... I mean, actually, I don't know. Maybe the Panama was available in pewter. Probably not. But then again, it was also available in weird, like, black and brown finishes. And black and brass, brown and brass, things like that. So, I mean... who knows? But, yeah, pewter Casablancas are rare. One of the rarest finishes out there. Like I said, the only ones that rival it are... antique copper, the early antique copper, and polished copper. Because those were considered, well, antique copper was considered traditional, but polished copper was considered a contemporary finish alongside brushed pewter. So, I mean, yeah. Rare as hell. Anyway, there you have it. A brushed pewter Four Seasons. I finally got one. And it works perfectly. Hope you enjoyed.